Some more embarrassing news out of Flowery Branch. Jim Nagy, the runner of the Senior Bowl, which is where a ton of top draft prospects consistently get found. Their draft stocks improved. The Falcons have used it a ton in recent years. So they clearly value the Senior Bowl. It's where a lot of their draft picks have come from. But he kind of indirectly took a shot at the Atlanta Falcons, thanking the 26 GMs that all were in attendance for the Super Bowl. The five of the GMs that were not, two of them are in the Super Bowl. Obviously, they are not going to be around for the Senior Bowl. And then three of them did not have GMs in place. The one that was not in the Super Bowl and had a GM in place, Terry Fontenot, was not at the Senior Bowl.
What are you doing? What? I mean, this isn't like my girlfriend's a teacher. It's not summer vacation. Woohoo! No more work. Like your job, 365, 24/7. There are no off days. I guess when, Arthur Smith was getting fired and Terry Fontenot was helping console everybody in Flowery Branch while Rich McKay and Arthur Blank were at the press conferences, and maybe he's, consoling people in Flowery Branch. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe hanging out with Kirk Cousins. I mean, what the hell is going on? And it's really kind of not that big of a deal. Like for him to be there and get his own eyes on players isn't not going to make or break their evaluation of a player. It just won't, because there's so much more data that goes into it. There's so many more opinions. We love the word collaboration. Like he's not, Bill Belichick, dictator up there going, I see that guy, I want that guy. It goes through a bunch of filters where, it's not just Terry Fontenot making the decision. But this is still a bad look where Jim Nagy is obviously a very boisterous person. This isn't the first time he's had this kind of moment, like where he is obviously taking a shot at somebody in particular or a group in particular. This is just a terrible look, and it's just the same crap that we have to deal with as Falcons fans, where it's like, how can we take our team seriously when they don't take themselves seriously?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're totally right. It's not going to probably make a difference. I mean, the Falcons did have people in attendance that were in there, but there's two things that I think. One of, and this I think is the most important aspect, and I think this is going to ring true to a lot of you. Football, when you talk about quarterbacks, when you talk about the greats, when you talk about Tom Brady, and it gets more brought up, but it's the attention to detail, right? And this is just one of those details where it's just like, oh, that's not that important. And it's like everything's important. And I think that's kind of the why it's like the Falcons are not good enough to be just like taking passes or taking off days on these huge events. They should be learning everything they possibly can, every detail that they possibly can. Maybe they would have learned one inkling of information on a guy or a prospect that they didn't know that could have made a difference. And even if they didn't, there was a chance to. And I think that's where it kind of pisses you off, that it's like, if there was any chance that this could have potentially swayed you one way or another or made an impact on this organization, you should be there. And there is, because this is just another opportunity for collect information on these guys, meet the guys, see them up front. And guess what? You pass on it and you're the GM. But the only other thing that it says is I'm like, how are we, and this has been my whole thing with Terry. What is Terry Fontenot really? I mean, is he's really
the Queen of England? He's just a facade. He doesn't really do anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know if it matters that he's there, because I don't know if he's even like making any decisions.
Another point is like, screw the Senior Bowl. This is face-to-face time with 26 other GMs. Like, hey, we have to trade Kirk Cousins this offseason. It might be nice to get ahead of the ball, get the ball rolling and look somebody in the eyes. It's always better to deal with somebody face-to-face than any other form of communication. And one thing rings true is it was Terry Fontenot who said, Terry Fontenot said this in 2020, 2021, when he was hired, is how you do anything is how you do everything. Meaning, picking up trash off the sidewalk is just a microcosm of how you live your life. And that's just an example. And this is a clear indication. It's like what you're talking about is the details. It's in the details. The NFL is a game of inches. This isn't like, the best, what separates the very best teams. We're going to see it on Super Bowl Sunday is a game of inches. It's those one moment in the game where you get 1 inch and you win. It's crazy.
I mean, and this could sway you on an entire player. I mean, it could for
Seeing
better,
a player in the
for
eye.
better or for worse. It could completely change how you view it. Maybe it's just one player. Maybe it's a player in the 6th round. Maybe you find a hidden gem that you hadn't really thought about, that you really grew to like because who he is as a person, because he was on the field, the way that he practiced.
Watching somebody run off the field outside of the camera frame where nobody else is seeing him, and you're seeing him do this, or maybe practice is over and you're seeing him how he's interacting with fans,
watching how they lead. I mean, listen, you can sit there and go talk to a player's coach, but listen, people have come to me and asked my opinions on friends, on jobs, on whatever. And guess what? I always give a glowing opinion because I'm not necessarily a bad guy. Unless I really hate you, I'm going to talk you up like you're an all-star. You're a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah, these coaches are their players' best friends.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not necessarily the best, form of finding out information when you could go do it yourself in an environment like this. So it's just the attention to detail for an organization that hasn't done many things right, where it's like you should be doing everything possible to try to do things right. And for you to just not be at the senior, maybe he had a reason, but I really just questioned what the hell Terry Fontenot is doing at all in this organization, if anything.